Okay. All right. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the 440 Guitar Podcast. My name is Jerrell Powell. Thank you so much for tuning up. You can catch the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anchor.fm/440. Be sure to follow the podcast as well on Instagram at the 440 Guitar Podcast, just so you can get updates on all the episodes that are going to be coming out. And then be sure to check out 440guitarpodcast.com. It's our website where if you have any questions on the background of the podcast, information about myself, you can check that out. And then also on the bottom of the website, there is a section where you can submit questions or a message to me, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So today I have a very special guest on the show. This person is my guest has been a guitar professor, has been teaching for over 30 years, and he has had students that have turned into stars, such as the works of John Mayer, Eric Krasno, many others. He's also a professional musician and has worked with artists such as Phil Collins, Ronnie Earl, Paul Jackson, Darryl Jones, Susan Tedeschi, and many others. He also has over 150,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel and has received well over 1 million views. Without further ado, Tomo Fujita. Tomo, how are you, sir?
How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for taking the time. It's a really big thing. I know you're 3 hour gap. You're in out in Boston, right?
Boston, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law used to live in Boston for a few years for a
Oh,
PhD.
I see. Yeah, good place. Yeah.
um, so one of the things I've been asking everybody, just because it's such a crazy event that's affected many people many ways. How's the quarantine life been for you, during this whole process?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Mhm.
Not huge difference for me, just because I do a lot of online work, lessons, and
Mm.
see, I made my own online lesson site since March 2000, 2019, that's about
Mhm.
a year ago. So when this hits, like, around, beginning of March, actually my business went up in
Oh.
time. So, but as a musician, of course, people has been doing a lot of gigs. All gigs is gone. Very difficult to maintain, income and activity. But for me, I did a lot of online things.
Mhm.
Skype lessons, all that. So it's like right now I'm okay. But still I have to look ahead. Time
Mhm.
to look. So that's why I have been actually working on a lot more YouTube
Mhm.
and a little bit Instagram. So like you mentioned, YouTube
Yeah.
now have 155,000.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, going up, and then Instagram of 160.
Wow.
Yeah, even this like it's technically you make a performance or a lesson or something to post, but still it's not easy. You have to
Mm.
study. You have to really study some. Just like being try to be a great guitar player. First thing we would do is listening, amazing guitar player and musician. Second, we mimic them, we copy them, we transcribe them, we analyze them. Same thing nowadays. New way. Musician has to study good model of Instagram guy. People doing Instagram or YouTube, especially YouTube. You have to really transcribe, study people's way. Then doing it. So you have to learn.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to have a little difficult time kind of getting more fans and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, YouTube, but now seems like I start to feel a little bit more. I know how to do it. So
Yeah.
it's hard. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. Very neat. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of the videos that would just show up as I was watching YouTube and blues things, and then a lot of your videos came up and just how you teach. Um,
Thank you.
just very it's just an incredible way of teaching and very relatable, I think, for people of all ages. So, are all facets or all learning, skills of, learning guitar. So something
Yes.
I definitely appreciated.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
that even like that, like you mentioned, I teach blues, funk, and a lot of different style. But lately, I'm trying to do like something outside of my, comfort zone. Sometimes
Yeah.
a little simple country licks or, something, more rock stuff or like that. Then, yeah, I'm trying to do like, posting something a little bit different
Mm.
lately on the YouTube. Yeah.
Nice.
But that's why I think YouTube start, recommend my video to other people so
Mm.
that, I can recommend a musician who wants to be more active on social media. You have to find your strength, also your uniqueness, to
Mm.
make yourself out there to not just show your skill, but also a little bit creative way, more fun way to do,
Mm.
something kind of simple. You don't have to do anything too difficult,
Mm.
but you have to find your own thing. That's why I tell my students about social media. Almost a social media, almost you're gonna open up a pizza place. It's a pizza, but you have to make something unique. Otherwise, people won't come,
Right.
right? How
Right.
many ways can you can say? Great tasting pizza, great music, great guitar. Of course, people know that, but then you have to express that slightly different way, unique way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, there definitely is a science, and there's a strategy, the strategy of being able to do
definitely.
that.
So that's why easy way to say is posting social media is very easy to do. You can do couple minutes you just make a video. You can post it right away,
Mhm.
but that won't go anywhere just because
Right.
there's no plan. So you have to have a plan, plan the preparation a little bit, something like that. But great part is millions of people don't know you, don't know me.
Mm.
Then you can meet these people if you do well. That's the kind of a fun about the social media to me.
Mm.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I have of course, right now I have 155,000 followers. But if you look just in guitar, Marty Schultz, or Rick Beato, everybody has 1.5 million or 2 million.
Mm.
So it means I can say more than 1 million people just don't know me.
Mm.
Simply just don't know me. That's the part is to me so excited every day. you
Mm.
know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another positive way, everything positive. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the part is right now it's a difficult time, so you have to do everything positive so that everything is gonna be okay.
Mm. Wow. That's a really good way to look at it. I never thought about them, hey, these people just don't know me. They can get to know me.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
system. Here's the thing: system is making make you difficult to do. For
Mm.
example, Instagram, you can anybody can post, but you can post a link right on the post. So
Right.
why? Because if you can post a link, everybody does business.
Mm.
So Instagram doesn't want you to do business, but they want to work. They want to make you work more to
Right.
promote yourself. If you promote, you get more connection. More connection you get, that thread of posts pop up and talk. Then any other people adding, like ads, right? That's why Instagram, if you don't know, you need 10,000 people to do the swipe up.
Right. Yeah. I figured that out later on.
Right. So if you have a 10,000 people every single day, 24 hours a day, you can do swipe up. That's greatest business way to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't annoy people because you just keep doing it and anybody look at it and just they swipe up because curious.
Right.
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 That's how you do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's like a great way to do business. So in my case, right, I post a long video. Like for example, yesterday I post a long video on the YouTube over 10 minutes. Then I watch the video. I cut video short, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, like that. So I have an idea. Then I post that on the Instagram. The Instagram I post on the story. So everything kind of go in circle.
Mm.
Yeah. So then Facebook, fan page, my own page, Twitter. So I do 5 things same time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I do when I'm eating lunch. Yeah, I eating sandwich and I go like this because I can do by one hand. In other words, you have to do everything, kind of quick, But
Yeah.
still, you have to spend some hours figuring out stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like kind of
Absolutely.
crazy. Sometimes like I tell my wife I'm gonna work on study YouTube from now. Afternoon 3 hours. I just watch. Really understand what how they make what's the purpose. Like a lot of detail.
Right.
Yeah. So almost transcribing people's YouTube, and then I have a notes like this. Notes. Then I have a lot of notes figuring out what's that.
Mm.
So that structure. I'm kind of copying the structure. Introduction, talk about something, but the middle there's a conflict. Not just all good stuff. Conflict. So people
Yeah.
pay attention. The people argue more. These are things almost like TV, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't show just all happy story. They have to do some little ugly stuff, in the middle, right? So that's what people talk, argue. So even that, YouTube, you have to have that discipline.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very
So
true.
that's my thing. Just I have that idea.
Yeah.
Then around 10 minutes, I wrap up. Yeah. But
Very
really, to me, it's just like you have own really, just like you have own restaurant or own TV show, whatever you have. But then all depends how you do it, and
cool.
this business goes down or up. That's
Right.
kind of a part is exciting
Yeah.
to
It's
me.
true.
Yeah, yeah. But before, honestly, I didn't know. So this is I did. I made I used to make. I made. I go to Japan and I made a lot of video performing. And I thought that's the best thing I can do, performing to post it, right? Didn't go well.
Mm.
I post something really funky, then only 1,000 view or 800 view. Why? Now I know why. Because the system is not making every video goes everywhere.
Mm.
Anything you make first sit there and you
Yeah.
make something to connect with people. Then gradually that's come up here and there. That's
Yeah.
when you can see some video hits a little higher.
Right. That's
Just
right.
because people feel the same way, then people want to share it or people want to write something because they feel something.
Right.
So that's why like the worst thing, not worst thing, is like fine performance to post, not doing anything
Mm.
because nothing you can say about great, you know, great.
Yeah.
So instead of do that, as a musician, you should do post a fine performance, then sometimes something else, even backstage talk. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Each one has to come up something.
Very
Rehearse,
true.
rehearse it. There's arguments about rehearsal. That's probably that's more sell. Yeah. Something like
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a crazy.
So on the 440 Guitar Podcast, we're big on the origin stories of our guests, how they got to where they are today. Um, so to hit the ground running on that, what are some of your earliest memories of music?
Earliest memory of music. Ah, I mean, like first I listened a lot of Beatles, and
Mm.
then get into English, like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and all that. Jeff Beck. The funny part is, I didn't realize I was listening to all English people. I thought this all American because they speak English. I was from Japan, so I didn't know.
Mm.
Yeah, but then yeah, so listening like that. Then gradually, I listened Larry Carlton. So like that's more of a fusion.
Mm.
Then once I hear the fusion, I start hear blues, like a B.B. King, Freddie King, Albert Collins, and all that guys.
Mm.
Then jazz, Charlie Christian, Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, all that, and then Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. The gradually soul, more soul music. So first funny part is I listen Japanese rock music, then English rock, and then American, little bit jazz fusion, then get into a little bit more blues and R&B.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how I did it. But then everything comes kind of at the same time, and I was really fascinating. And like one of my favorite records when I was teen when I was 16 was Donny Hathaway Live.
Mm.
I listened to the album over and over. I still have a LP and here, yeah, that's like a really, really, this is the one, Donny Hathaway Live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing album. And then I didn't realize side A recorded in LA, side B recorded in New York.
Oh.
It's Vita End, I played there too, which is a kind of cool place.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's the earliest memories really like
Yeah.
that, I mean, almost everything once comes, just everything just happens, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Earth
Yeah.
and Fire. I was about 12 or 13. My karate teacher brought me to Earth and Fire concert, 1976 or 77.
Mm.
First time they came to Japan.
Yeah.
Then they couldn't do regular concert hall because they have a lot of stuff to do, magic stuff. So they rented a really huge, arena.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Did your
Yeah.
growing up, did your parents listen to that music? So that's how you kind of get
So
influenced, or did you kind of?
you see, like, I play funk, right?
Mm.
I know why, because my father loved disco music.
Mm.
My father, he's not a musician, but he loves to, listen music. So he has few jazz records and then lots of disco records. I don't know why he has.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because that was like in the late, almost like a mid 70s.
Yeah.
So he has, I don't know why he bought a few, like a disco, funk, chic, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of confunction kind of thing. Then that's how I really into disco funky beat. So that's why I guess when
Oh.
I start playing, always some sort of a grooving stuff I was like. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, but definitely if you look back, always somebody influenced you.
Mm.
First
Yeah.
influence always stay a long time.
Right.
That's why it's not like, I discover funk. Almost like somewhere in my life, there's a funk disco stuff and then some, blues or jazz. And that really, yeah, stays in me so long and really strong.
Mm.
Then interesting part is I came to America study music just because this all American music thing really drive me like crazy. Oh, I want this. So instead of go to Tokyo from Japan, I went to Boston to
Mm.
study Berkeley. So that was I was 21 when I went to Boston.
Mm.
Then study at the Berkeley. Then back then I was really trying to be studio musician, like a Steve Lukather, Jay Graydon, that kind of, Paul Jackson Jr., that kind of a session player. So I was really transcribing, study session type of guitar, work. But then when I graduated, I really felt I didn't have blues really play well. In other words, I thought I could play blues, but I was just imitating blues, not really, really understand blues.
Mm.
So when I finished at the college, I decided not to listen anymore, any jazz or any funk, only blues.
Mm.
I did about 2 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that same time, good friend of mine, his name Dennis Montgomery. He used to teach gospel ensemble choir at the Berkeley. And one day, I think around summer, he asked me a lot of things, and then he said, "Why don't you come to my church? Because I'm music director for Boston Baptist Church." Okay. Then I went there week after.
Mm.
That experience amazing.
Mm.
Just because every week we play songs that never rehearsed. Because
Mm.
he knows song. Everybody knows the song. I don't know the song, so I just go there. I just play by ear. No charts, nothing. Just bring amp, plug in, no pedal, nothing like that.
Mm.
And then anything I play, reaction with everybody. It just
Yeah.
yeah seems like if I do something really, spiritual, something really good, I think I can make everybody really like go crazy, happy, something like that. It's almost like I felt like really kind of feedbacking, with the audience and everybody and playing music, and
Mm.
I think that was to me, more than Berkeley, that was amazing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Was
amazing.
that was that one of the was that one of the first was that like one of the first times that you played live, or was it just as far as just
No,
the
no,
experience
no.
of it?
Okay, first like a live experience. I did a little bit in Japan.
Mm,
Band. Kind of punk band I used to do. And then after that, yes, in United States, I did a lot of club gigs around Berkeley near so probably I play every gig around the Berkeley. Then we did a blues tour with several different artists. That's like a going circuit. From New York to Philadelphia, going south and all that way. Yeah, I did that. That was kind of tough too. Yeah, I thought that's really fun, but it's really traveling kind of tough. I never ever thought 12 hour, riding the band and then play. Really, that was hard to do.
right.
I didn't know, but yeah, yeah. Then after that, yeah, all circuit here. Then touring Japan after that. Right. I think right after I graduated from Berkeley, I started touring Japan. I went to England. I went to Korea, a lot of places. Yeah. So more
Wow.
international. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about kind of you know, going back to when you very first started to learn guitar, what was that experience like for you? Was it kind of an uphill battle as far as being challenging, or did everything kind of stick as far as just building
No.
and building
Okay. Yeah.
more
Yeah.
knowledge?
That's a good question. First one, I still remember. Almost like I went to somewhere. That was, I think, I went to, I went to maybe some dinner with my family or somewhere,
Mm.
restaurant or some big place, and there's a guitar, and then there's a guitar. So I play like that. I go, sounds kind of nice, but I have no idea. That was my first experience ever with guitar. That was 10. I play like this, the open string.
Yeah.
Hmm, something like that. Then next one is like my relatives. Somebody had a guitar, classical guitar. Then
Mm.
he showed me a little bit. Then he said, "If you want to borrow, you can borrow because I don't need it. Somebody gave it to me, So
Mm.
okay, I borrowed it. That was again experience. But from that guitar, I couldn't play anything. I only play chromatic scale.
Okay.
Really, somebody taught me chromatic scale. That's it. So about that point, I was 11 or I think 12, correctly 12. Up to that, from 1 year exactly, I couldn't play anything. So I remember first experience, I got the guitar, I couldn't play. Then after that, I bought electric guitar.
Mm.
Still, about a year, I couldn't play anything.
Mm.
But then this is what happened. Friend of mine, brother, got the guitar first time. Then he started learning.
Mm.
Then 6 months later, a year later, I don't know how long to go, but he started playing something. That's when I thought I can do it. You
Mm.
know, yeah. Then I asked around friends. So somebody, you know, this person knows maybe few chords. Wow. Okay, great. I learned. The other person knows pentatonic scale like that. I remember some guys playing like almost a Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven sort like that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I want to do that. Then each person really taught me one little thing.
Mm.
One little thing to me, two chords or one bending like that. So
Yeah.
look back, almost I had a private lesson individually, 15 minutes each, almost half an hour, half an hour each. But that was great lesson for me. That
Mm.
opens up
Wow.
because each lesson so tiny, because one person knows each one so little. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
little information was really strong because that's all I know. That two chords I play, few riff I play, something like that. Each person has a little bit different. Then I joined the band.
Mm.
Joined the band. Band leader gave me a cassette tape or records to listen to it. Then I figured out, but I can't figure out some chords. Then band leader teaching me how to play. Then I learned how to use my ear to figure it out from the records. Then I hooked.
Mm.
Oh wow! If I know the degree interval, I understand. It's almost I'm figuring out own way about the theory. I didn't
Yeah.
know theory, but everybody else is saying you have to learn theory in jazz guitar like that. and I was afraid to study because I thought I'm not good at it.
Mm.
So that's what I avoided. Everybody's saying you should do study with such and such. So I just waited to 18. When I was 18, and then I asked that person, jazz guitar lesson. I did 2 years, and that changed because that was a formal study. Formal study really helps my playing. Without that, I didn't come up to here this level
Mm.
because
Wow.
that person's lesson was very structured, very structured. Fingering, way of lesson plan, everything. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
I
very
was
structured. Yeah,
I was researching that you had private lessons with Joe Pass. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah. That was a reason is I was really want to be Larry Carlton at one point. So Larry Carlton's story was like this: when he was 16, he asked Joe Pass private lesson, and Joe Pass listened Larry, and then Joe Pass told Larry, "Come back later, study more, and come back." In other words, Larry didn't have enough probably knowledge of harmony, and then year later come back and then you know Joe taught him something,
Mm.
and that was a fascinating story. I have to do it. So 1990, Joe Pass came to Boston, and some club, doing solo guitar and trio gig. And me and my great friend Neil Itzler, friend, I brought him to the gig. And then after the gig, I asked not Larry, Joe Pass, so please could you teach us like a master lesson like that? And the first answer he said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't do those things. That's what he said. I still remember. I don't do those things.
Mm.
Okay, I was really, basically, um, it's like unfortunately, it's like rejected.
Mm.
The second time in the funny, I said, so please teach us. I love to study. I don't know. That's
Mm.
I don't know. He starts smoking, cigar. I don't know. And
Mhm.
then I still remember Neil said, "Let's." So Tomo, don't worry. Let's go home. I said, no. I have to ask him. So I asked him 4 times, and he said yes.
Oh wow.
So this is my lesson. Rejection. Don't take. Just keep going. I mean, no
Mm.
rude way, no rude way. But he was there. I just keep asking. Worst case, he said, go home. Then I go home.
Right.
But he said, yes. I went home. Either way. Do you know what I mean? So the funny part is, I called hotel because he said, call me hotel. So call hotel. So can I speak to Joe Pass? He was there. All right. And I said, do you charge? And of course, he said, I don't know. I don't really do those things, really. Okay. So what can I do? He said, find a good cigar store in Boston. Bring me to the cigar store. I point to that box. You guys buy it, and that's the fee. So this is what we did. We pick up Joe Pass at the hotel. We brought him to the cigar store in Harvard Square, and we bought a cigar. Go back to his hotel room, and we study about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So that experience changed my life completely about the concept about music because I was schooled by Berkeley, which is good. But Joe Pass, he has more than school, entire experience, world class experience. That's what I wanted to know.
Right.
So I asked a lot of questions, a lot of concepts, a lot of ways to do it. Many things I was wrong.
Mm.
In other words, sometimes theory or those like very so like a system, we tend to rely on the system. But his case was, he understands the system, but he doesn't really overuse the system. He just used a little bit more other way. Yeah. So that those yeah, in the choices, ideas, that was amazing.
Wow. Wow.
So
What a great story.
yeah, that was again. If I didn't have that experience, I'm not here today like this teaching people.
Mm.
I mean,
Wow.
probably I teach maybe, but then I don't have the same philosophy
Yeah.
because each
Wow.
person taught me really great philosophy in valuable lesson.
Mm.
In other words, it's not just all coming from books or school, or, like system.
Mm-hmm.
We use a system, but we have to go beyond the system in order to teach better. So yeah, that was a wonderful piece that I needed
Wow.
because I want to be a Larry Carlton. I need to know what he experienced. So I gotta experience what he experienced. So I
Right.
got my way, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Other funny part is I told you like I was heavily influenced by Larry Carlton. But when I came to US, I didn't bring my 335 because it's a little bit difficult to bring, back then. And so I bought a Stratocaster, so I play more rhythm guitar, more funk stuff that go to. But then still, I remember first year at the Berkeley, everybody says, you sound like a Larry Carlton. Yeah. So first like couple months, oh, thank you, it's great. But every time, you sound like a Larry Carlton. Okay, I don't hear that anymore. Not
Right.
disrespect Larry, but I want to be my own sound. That's why I came to America to train myself.
Right.
So what can I do? Several years I really into figuring out Larry Carlton, and this is what I did. Away from Larry Carlton because I had enough.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time. No listen Larry Carlton. So when I came, no listen Larry Carlton. Another funny story. First year, Larry came to Berkeley to do the performance. I got the tickets, of course.
Mm.
This is I did the same night. I didn't go. I'm
Wow.
surprised. I had the tickets in my hand. I didn't go because if I go, I fall in love with him again. And
Right.
problem, if I do that, I love to play like him. Then if I do that, I keep playing. Sounds like a Larry.
Right.
I can be a great player. Sounds like a Larry. And
Mm.
then we don't need another Larry Carlton. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to make a Tomo Fujita. How can I do that? Oh, just quit listening, Larry. That's what I did. So I bought the tickets. And I didn't go.
Oh wow.
That was very meaningful because I bought the tickets. I show you respect. I didn't go
Mm.
because that's for me. And it worked. It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked because many years I just avoided Larry Carlton. Then I start, soul searching about myself. That's why I told you I decided to go back to blues,
Mm.
not jazz. Everybody can play jazz here and there. So why not? I go deep into blues. But what I mean deep into blues, not just blues form or blues lick. It's just that, you know, people have natural blues feeling.
Mm.
So more
Yeah.
than just copying. So that was my study.
Wow. Wow.
Then, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. That's really interesting and very relatable as far as just being having being inspired by an artist and that you've being inspired by an artist and then you kind of end up playing like him as far as just
That's
the things that you got inspired by, but
that's
then
what
it turned into
yeah.
yeah, it turned to something where you're like, wait, no, I want to be my own guitarist. I don't just want to sound like
Yeah,
a person.
exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how much Larry had that in his mind, creating his own sound, but I'm sure he had because there's Robin Ford, Reed Ritenour, Cornel Dupree, a lot of great players, George Benson. So I think he developed like his singing tone, but by bending skill, and other interesting part is then one point, right? I was just curious about his history of Larry. In other words, Larry Carlton became very famous in 1977, 78 with his records. Okay, the this one. But then I didn't really hear anything before this one
Hmm.
because this was very popular in Japan. Then when I came to America, I was start searching, asking people what was it before this one. Then I found out a few records that he made, like a jazz records. Didn't sell well. I shouldn't say, but this is he made it become famous. But before, so one of his records is like a holding 175 Gibson. He played like style of West Montgomery, means all clean tone jazz guitar, no bend.
Oh, interesting.
Then when I hear that to this one, I have to figure it out. I have to do the same thing myself. Because see, this is exactly the same thing as Instagram or YouTube or making your own career. You have to really copy somebody, then you have to figure it out your own way.
Right.
In other words, you don't create your own thing from scratch. That's impossible.
Yeah.
So this one, so I don't have a CD here, but so his jazz records, 1968 or 69. Then this one, it's between, so like no bending Wes Montgomery into his own style.
Mm.
So that's why I went to blues first, style-wise. Then I worked only bending. Have you ever heard of people comment my bending? Tomo, you
Yeah.
have a nice bending.
Yeah.
And then every time I hear, feel really good, but also same time, I know why. Because that's all I did one summer, one
Oh
year.
wow.
1 year, I did everything about bending. Because one point, actually, uh, this is, I was 1992 or 3.
Mm.
Around there, actually, I really worked on it. Yeah. The reason is, my wife, she thought I'm going crazy. Because sometime in my basement, right? And then, you don't have to plug. But anyway, so what I did was like, almost like
Mm.
like that. But I do
Yeah.
this 50 minutes like that. So almost like, constant annoying bending notes, and then same notes over and over. So my wife really thought I'm going cuckoo. Yeah, yeah. Because now playing music, every note is bending like wah, wah,
Right.
this,
It's hard to explain
Yeah, she said,
that.
Tomo, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. I'm just working on it. And then she understood later, but yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
so like that kind of a crazy commitment about the one thing.
Mm.
Then people comment me, sounds great. Just like people comment me, you sounds like a Larry Carlton because that's all I did before. So
Right.
yeah, that's why like sometimes people said, I'm keep jamming, but I don't think I can. I'm not really improving. So when people say that, after my private lesson, then I hear, so please play something, like you do, and I can see jamming because it's not really preparing based on some example. It just come up something like randomly, then just keep playing on the spot. So almost like you make up some story, you keep telling people. There's no end of a story because you keep making up. So story has to have a little bit like origin,
Yeah.
theme, and then somewhere to finish, resolve, right? So my comment usually says kind of funny. The problem is you play too casually.
Mm.
See, like a guitar, very casual because for fun, and it's supposed to play easy. So if you play casually, if you play, quickly and keep repeating, I guarantee you're gonna be good guitar player forever
Mm.
because that's what you're doing,
Yeah.
preparing to be okay.
Mm.
So I have to teach
Interesting.
them if you wanna be great, you have to do a little bit crazy stuff, slightly,
Right.
which is commitment of one thing at a time. So
Mm.
that each step you do excellent job in each step. Then
Mm.
you learn how to make effort on the one topic. Even wash dishes or clean room, whatever you do, you have to do really good job. So
Yeah.
that feedback, and then translate that into everything. So I make people positive. That's my job to me.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. One time, like last year, Fender had my interview in Japan, and and then last question was, what are you trying to do? Help people or inspire people. I know you inspire, but I said I want to make more better people, more kind people, so
Mm.
that this world become a little bit more level.
Mm.
Because here, too much comparison, too much jealousy, too much, complain to others, then ended up we kind of create sour feeling, and then ended up people hate each other sometimes. So I just like to make people happier,
Yeah.
and then a little bit more low key about the things or what other people doing. In other words, um, you want to understand what's going on, but you don't want to pay attention too much.
Mm.
Difference is if you ignore the problem, ignore when you sleep, you start remembering what's the problem, the bother you. But if you understand clearly, but you don't pay attention, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I teach these things through guitar. So to me, guitar is just one purpose, ourselves to learn about the life, to live better. That's that makes sense to me.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you with, all of your years of teaching, and experience, I was curious to ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to learning guitar? Because, for example, when I was learning guitar, I remember at
Yeah.
least just reading things on just reading like little blog forums or whatever. There's this conception of you have to learn acoustic before you can learn electric. Like you can't just start with electric. You have to learn with acoustic. And
Yeah,
then,
right. Those like like okay, those like one point of view is correct, but first thing, how about this way? There is no one absolute way is best in
yeah.
guitar playing. Just because guitar is so much styles, finger picking, pick style, fast phrase, rhythm guitar, heavy distortion, clean guitar, so many ways. Also, you have to be very careful about this one. This is only profession that no need any license. This is
Hmm.
dangerous in a way. If you do cooking, okay, if you do cooking, if you are a dentist, if you are something, even plumber, you have to have a license to do.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do, you harm somebody. But guitar, listen carefully, this is important. Guitar, anybody can teach. Anybody can be teacher on YouTube today if you pretend. So that means a lot of information, more than 50%, is junk sometimes, really.
Mm. Yeah.
Because not trained performer, or there's no rule. So that's a misconception is like to me, don't trust anybody
Mm.
right away.
Yeah.
Always a little bit doubt. Don't trust. Even me, don't trust anybody. So in other words, too much information. Something is good, something is not good. So you the judge, and that's so. For example, acoustic and electric guitar. Even electric guitar, you have to have a really good maintenance setup. Otherwise, you learn something not great. Even acoustic guitar, if you buy cheap acoustic guitar with neck is bored or on all the strings, nothing works.
Mm.
But in general, people saying acoustic guitar is low maintenance, a little less than you can really feel it. So people believe in old school, just to get the acoustic first, then electric, old school. I understand that concept. But nowadays it's different because electric guitar even made really well, right
Yeah.
size, really good. That's why I bought a, online guitar, and then I just show people how to set up and all that stuff, for fun. Yeah.
Mm.
So misconceptions really looking for one absolute answer. That's the misconception.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because there is no one. So like each step you can find out, Yeah. But also nowadays you can Google information, interview, right? Even this is
Right.
interview. Yeah. But then, I'm teacher. I teach at the Berkeley. I've been teaching so many years and so many people from different culture. So I teach a lot of different people. And each people has different character, different pace. I sense that.
Mm.
Once I sense that, I change my material completely different way
All right.
because I can teach 1 through 10 because that sometimes not good for people
Right.
because
Right.
personality doesn't take that way.
Hmm. Wow. Do you think I was going to ask you, as far as, you've taught you've taught so many guitar players,
Yeah,
so many guitar players, really talented guitar players.
yeah.
What are some things that you have learned from your students that has been instrumental in your, in what you do, as far as being a professor of guitar?
I think like in a way, I think each student, I mean, even like now, each student, I learn something from students because every day I'm learning something from
Mm,
something. So always, even when I'm in a lesson, I just learn, watch people and I learn. And then, yeah, so I can't really tell you exactly what I've learned from each student, but
mm,
always I'm open to learn. In other words, I'm not saying I'm always right.
mm,
I know more than students, but I don't present like I'm always right. I'm just telling this is better to go. But then
mm,
I respect the students, idea and personal, you know, pace.
mm.
So something like that. So that's I learn. Actually, I learn from. I have to respect the students, their pace. Then I add my idea. But also, misconception. I have one more.
Sure.
If you learn theory, you're gonna be a great guitar player. That bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
almost like it's saying like okay, you're gonna be a great guitar player. Here's a theory, this dictionary. Read this one. It doesn't do anything
Yeah.
unless you have a music. So in other words, theory is almost like a description about the tone. I mean, like a interval or chords or scale, interval, color.
Yeah.
But that's all. So first, right, you say here's a lot of misconception. You have to learn by ear. Learn by ear means just learn by ear, but then you have to understand what are you learning.
Right.
If you hear the melody, then you have to understand either chord or tone, like a major, third, or fifth. That's a really theory already.
Yeah.
So if you learn by, you know, ear means still you think about that.
Mm,
So in a way, you're thinking theory, play by ear. So
mm.
play by ear means people think it's kind of miracle. Oh, don't worry about reading, don't worry about theory. Hendrix play by ear. But if you learn Hendrix phrasing, he understood all inversions. Sometimes he does inversions really well.
Mm.
Why? Because he played with great piano player, great horn section. The music has very nice sound. And if you analyze as a theory, that's all nice chord voicing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Very
then,
interesting.
if when you label these things, like if I play some chords, if Hendrix plays like this, like that, like then right away you have to hear root going to +7. That's from experience playing it, but also analyzing with your
Right.
knowledge. So in a way, that's a theory. It's not just a theory about the book or. So the problem I think people read stuff a little too much, so immediately think, oh, I don't know theory.
Mm,
Like, that's why like the other day, if you watch my jazzy course and then tell me how much do you understand.
mm.
That's all I ask. If you don't understand, don't worry about it. That's all I am here as a teacher. And somebody say, I have no idea. Great answer. Great answer. Then you always have to learn.
Right.
Yeah. And if somebody said, I can hear it, but I don't know what they are. Great
Mm.
answer. Then you have to learn theory to
Right.
identify.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of
Right.
like a means test to see what's a good direction to start, learning
Yeah.
it or build from there. It's interesting.
Yeah. So even business side, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm just learning about the idea. Like Instagram, if I post something amazing, okay, great. And what do you think if I say? People will say great. If some everybody say great, I don't gain anything. Do you understand? I don't gain anything from great. I feel good, but still I have to work harder.
Yeah.
That doesn't work, right? So that's why I play a little shorter and I play very jazzy chords, very specific line I play. That's like a fast thing. And then I always ask is, how much do you understand? Tell me.
Mm.
Then each answer comes. That's great. That's already great material for my next YouTube channel about the topic. Then I just play something people understand that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Another,
had
you go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, one of my last questions I had
Yeah.
for you. I know, I don't want to take up too much of your
No,
time,
no,
but
no, no, don't worry. Yeah, go ahead.
appreciate it. One of my last questions is, for that guitar player that, I feel like, it's funny. Like for me, I've been playing for guitar for a decent amount of time, but I feel like when someone is learning guitar, say at an older age, that it becomes more difficult to focus on the instrument because of everyday life.
Right.
Um, what do you think are what's some advice you would give to those type of players to motivate them to keep playing, you think?
Okay. Okay. So that case, I cannot explain about my teaching too much, but I will give them 2, 3 items to
Mm,
practice. Then each one I explain why we need to do this, how long, how to, and each one like a support really great. The first one is something very simple, like a chromatic skill, something like that, but focus on no noise, less pressure, and something more like a meditation. Then I ask person, then I can already see the problem because most people play in tempo. Learning material, sometimes you don't want to play in tempo because you have to have a technique to work on. So that person play lick, not a technique. So I
right.
have to teach how to gain technique.
Mm,
Then when you do, you have to limit 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and done.
mm,
No matter what you want to do, you have to done finish because nothing changed today. It takes a little time, and I make them to understand. So then they will have a sense how long to practice, how to judge, to move on or go back,
mm.
how to fix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, like that. Then quality, then
Mm.
train your ear. But more things, but so busy people especially, you can give them, hey, learn this song. Difficult. You can't. So I don't teach song. I teach technique.
Mm,
Like very tiny technique that change their life.
mm.
Then enjoy.
Yeah.
Like something like, simple 3 notes chord for jazz. I have everything on my guitar with them. And then I'm so happy that a lot of people really enjoying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. It's growing really nicely. Yeah.
Awesome. And then I guess this is a great opportunity for you just to plug
Yes.
some of your, the things that you do. How would they find that, or how would they sign up for the Guitar Wisdom?
Yeah, very simple. My Instagram name is Tomo Just Funky. So if you Google tomojustfunky.com, that's my website.
Mm,
Then that website has everything about me.
mm,
All social media include Guitar Wisdom. Then
right.
explain, what's going on in my Guitar Wisdom. So you can learn about my Guitar Wisdom. Also, there's a link to join.
Mm.
So probably best way, just to remember Tomo Just Funky.
Oh,
Then
well, this one.
you're all set. Yeah.
There you go.
See? Simple.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Simple. Yeah.
Well, Tomo Fujita, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. This has been a great honor. So thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you.
real
Thank you so
fun.
much for having me. That's very special. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, there you have it, folks. This is Jerrell Powell from the 440 Guitar Podcast. We'll jam again soon, and everyone have a good day.